Daulton Varsho is the handyman who can do everything, the type of player the Blue Jays have desperately needed the past 2 seasons. But what makes him so special? And is it right to assume he can improve on his incredible 4.7 F-WAR from last year? Make sure to stick around to the end because we'll be doing some deep dives into some lesser talked about stats to uncover why Daulton Varsho is the most underrated player in Major League Baseball. First off, let's see exactly what Daulton Varsho has done in his first 6 games as a Blue Jay that warrants this type of video. Well, so far, Varsho has 3 multi-hit games and has reached base safely in all 6. A pleasant sign because if he's going to back up Springer, Bo, and Vlad at the top of the lineup, then he's going to need to improve on that career 306 OBP. So it's a pleasant sight to see his bat so hot out of the gate. But as we all know, baseball is much more than having a high slugging and OPS. For starters, his defense has been a breath of fresh air in left field. Early on, we've seen him make a few solid catches, held a double play intact by throwing to second instead of forcing a throw home, and making incredible putouts to nab Matt Duffy at the plate, which clocked in as one of the hardest balls Varsho has ever thrown in the big leagues. Last year, StatCast ranked Varsho as the most valuable outfielder in all of baseball, so let's take a look at just how incredible he truly was. An important figure to note here is his outs above average, which is a figure for outfielders that takes into account the distance, the opportunity time, and the direction he must go to put a percentage for the catch probability. For example, if the player has a chance at a ball with a 50% catch probability, then if he makes it, he gets plus 0.5, and if he misses, he gets negative 0.5. Now let's see where Varsho finished in 2022, and as you can guess, right on top. 9 points ahead of Steven Kwan and 5 ahead of Miles Straw. Now you might be wondering why I picked these 2 guys out of the list, and well, they were the 2 that won the Gold Gloves in the American League last year. And Varsho beat them out in this stat by a fair amount. Also, he only played 119 games in the outfield last year, while Kwan played 137 and Straw had 152. Safe to say Varsho is a favorite to win a Gold Glove at least once in his Blue Jays tenure. Moving on, I want to talk about Varsho's offensive ceiling. Now, I don't know if many of you have seen it, but I actually made a video a few months ago where I went over what I think the absolute optimistic outlook is for Varsho in 2023. And that was 31 home runs to go along with a 267 average, a 326 OBP, and a 476 slugging for an OPS of 801. There are a few key reasons why I think this could be a possible stat line for Varsho come October. For starters, the shift being banned is benefiting Varsho the most in baseball. Last year, he posted a 54% pull rate, which meant he hit the ball into one of the 3 fielders on the right side of the infield practically every other at-bat. This led to a horrible 268 BABIP. For those of you who do not know what that means, it's a figure to show a player's batting average of balls hit into play, and the league average is around 300. So it's obvious Varsho is not able to capitalize when he made contact. Going back to the ban of the shift, we should see Varsho benefit from this tremendously. But even with this new rule, defenses can still shade you a certain way, especially in the outfield. That's why it's still important to be able to put the ball to all parts of the field. And we saw something from Varsho the other night that he hasn't done since 2021, and that's hit an opposite field home run. Seriously, take a look at his hit chart in 2021 and 2022. He barely hit the ball to left field, and when he did, it was more often than not a single. That's why it was so encouraging to see Varsho hit that opposite field home run, because when a player is able to use all parts of the field, then that is when he is at his best. We've seen early on Chapman utilize right field a lot more to start this season, and he's tied a record for most hits throughout a Blue Jays player's first 5 games of the season. And not to mention going to the opposite field is Bo's bread and butter, and he's the back-to-back hit champion in the American League. It seems as though this is something the Blue Jays are trying to instill in Varsho, and it's been working so far. Of course, it is still very early, but if we take a look at his 2023 hit chart, then you can see there's a much greater spread in where he is hitting the ball. Now, if we take a look at his 2023 stats, then you can see it is far better than previous years, which tells us if he is able to keep hitting the ball to all parts of the field like he's been doing so far, then the Varsho we are seeing right now could be here all season long. Another important thing to note is he's going from the pitcher-friendly Chase Field to the now even more batter-friendly Rogers Center. At this point, most of you know that the right field wall has massively changed, which is to the direct benefit of Varsho. He's your classic pull hitter, and last season he launched 27 long balls right where the fence has been shortened to. 2023 is also Varsho's 4th season in the bigs. He's getting more mature, stronger, and acclimated to the level, so it's safe to assume that he can improve on that home run figure just from getting older. And if he is able to take advantage of the wall the way he should, then 35 home runs at some point in his Jays tenure is highly likely. Moving on, there is one last key component of his offense that should be talked about, and it's his profile against left-handed pitching. First and foremost, it is not good. In fact, it's really not good. But one thing he may be able to do more of this season against lefties is to try and bunt more. When Varsho drag bunts, he places it in the Bermuda Triangle between the pitcher, the first baseman, and the second baseman. And when the pitcher's a lefty, his momentum is carrying him towards third base after each pitch. Meaning, if placed well, he could easily beat out the throw. We actually saw this the other day from him, and he executed it perfectly. It's something Varsho's been able to do quite well in his young career. Last season, he batted with the bases empty 10 times. Out of those 10 times, he reached base safely in 9 of them. He's 15 for 16 in the past 2 years when faced with this exact scenario. That's all I got for you guys today about Varsho, but check out a couple of these past videos where I talked about what kind of stat line we should expect from him and a bold prediction surrounding his 2023 season. Thank you guys for watching, and before you go, let me know what you think about the Varsho acquisition, because I know it is met with mixed opinions by most Blue Jays fans. I'd also like to say that these videos take hours upon hours to produce, so your subscription would help me out immensely as I try to reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers. We as a community welcomed 401 new people last month, and I can't wait to keep that number growing with other like-minded people. I truly appreciate all of you, and I can't wait to cover Blue Jays baseball all season long. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.